Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to show you another small MIG welder. This one here is under $200 on Amazon USA. In Canada, it is just over $200. This thing can do stick, TIG, and solid MIG welding. Let's get right into it. This is the bestarc MIG 145. And this is their 7th generation of MIG welders. This thing runs on 220 volts and also 110. When you get it, it will come in a box like this. This is everything that comes out of the box. And in this box here are all the goodies or the extras, the things you will need to actually weld with it. There's a small manual here. And I would recommend that you hold on to this manual because it will tell you or show you where to hook up the plugs here depending on the welding process you are using. So you'll get the line for your argon CO2 or argon gas hookup. And here you will get the 110 to 220 plug. So what I'll do today is I'll be mostly using the 220 plug, but I know some of you guys will want to see how this thing welds on 110, and I will also show you that. Here you will also get a strap for the machine. You'll get the stick welding stinger right here, and the ground or earth clamp. And you'll get some pipe tape. And you will get a few extra tips here and an extra roller. And on the roller, it gives you the size of wire that it's for. If you flip over the roller, it gives you another size. There's also a small tool that comes with it. And you will get a roll of solid MIG wire. And you will get a roll of flux cord wire. So what I'll be doing here today is I'm going to start off by using the MIG process, the solid MIG wire. I'm going to put the hose away here because I've already got one on a tank. Now, since I'll be using MIG to start off with the gas, I will hook up this plug here right into this port. And I'll hook up the earth or ground clamp into this port over here, which is the negative port. Now, if you do flux cord welding, you will actually swap these out. Now, to start with, I'll be running it on 220 volts. And the on-off switch is in the back here. Now, if you run it on 220 volts, you can use the full 145 amps of the machine. If you go on 110, I think it's slightly less. Now, at the back here, you've got the connector for the gas. I'm using 75-25, which is a gas mix for MIG welding. I believe it is 75 argon, 25% CO2, something like that, or the other way around. And also back here, you'll see where the fan is. It seems to be running constantly. Now with the 75-25 gas, I usually run it at between 5 and 10 on the left hand side numbers here. I forget what you call those, so I'll just crank it up a bit here. Try to stay out of the wind if you can, if you're using gas with your MIG, but it does a much better job, I find. There's no slag to chip off, and the welds seem to turn out better using the gas with the solid MIG wire. So what I want to weld today are just smaller, thinner pieces of metal to start with. I've got some 1/2-inch pieces here. But what I want to do is simulate metal sizes that you wouldn't typically weld on outdoor equipment. For example, lawnmower decks, snowblower front end housings, which are pretty thin nowadays. And I find the flux core or solid MIG wire does a good job for that. I prefer that over stick. So here's some thinner metal. I believe this is about 1/16. I've got 1/8, 3/16, I believe. So these are typical sizes or thicknesses of metal that I'll find on outdoor equipment. So I'm just going to start with this, with these two pieces here. I will just join them together right here. Now, if you're using MIG with the gas, it's a good idea to make sure that your metal has been cleaned or polished with a flat disc or a wire brush. Alright, so I'm going to grab one of the rolls of wire that I got here. This one is the solid MIG, 0.8 millimeter in size, so you want to make sure that the little wheel inside the machine corresponds to that. I'll show you that in a second here. Now there's a clip like this on each side. and the top just opens up. So now what you want to do is get the roll in there. So you've got these two pieces from the top. This here just pops out. You can open this up. Now right here is where the small wheel is, and like I said, you want to match the number here to the wire you're using. I'm using 0.8. If you flip this wheel over, you can put a wire in there that is 1.0 millimeter in diameter, which would be your flux cord wire. So I'm going to flip it back like this, so the number that's at the top is the one that the wire will go through. So I'm just going to snip it right here. And make sure you hold the wire because it does have a tendency to come unwound. So I'm just going to run the wire right through here. See what I mean? It can come right off. And it is a bit annoying with these smaller rolls. And what you got to do here is get it into the hole right here. Now once you get this here part locked up, the wire will stay in place on the roll. It's not going to come unwound on you. So now what I'll do is turn the machine on and feed the wire till it comes out of the MIG gun. Now usually when I feed the wire through, I take the tip off. Now if it gets stuck like you did with the tip off like this, it's just easier to get it in there. And then all you got to do is just pop this on like that. I will leave the wire about 1/4 inch on top here. Now just a quick tip here guys is make sure to put the cap on the wheel before you feed the wire. Don't do like I did earlier because you will find it extremely hard to put this cap back on the wheel if the wire's already gone through. Now you can shut the door here, clamp it back on, and I'll get it fired up here. There's a protective tab that can come off. So here's how you set your amps. We are on gas welding, MIG. If you want gasless, just push the arrow up top here. I'm on MIG. There's the arrow for that. If you want TIG, you go here. If you want MMA, which is stick, you go there. And we will go on gas, not gasless. And if you do flux core, you will leave this on MIG with gasless. Right now we are MIG with gas. We are with wire of 0.0 30,000ths of an inch or 0.8 millimeters. And this is basically a synergic adjustment, meaning that it adjusts your volts with the amps just by turning this. You can see it right here. Now 2T and 4T, I'll show you what that's all about. So 2T, the wire will only feed as long as you hold the trigger. See that? Now if you go to 4T, all you have to do is hit the trigger once and the wire will keep feeding until you hit the trigger again. So it's feeding by itself. Now I push it again and it will stop. I prefer the 2T. I find I've got better control over it. But if you were doing a really long weld, you might want to go to 4T. But it's entirely up to you, depends what you feel better at. And right here it's telling me I'm on 220 volts. And for welding the really thin stuff here, I will start at about, I don't know, 90 amps. We'll see how that goes. I find that every machine I use has its own personality or characteristics. Some machines need more amps on the dial than others. So I'm just going to join this really thin metal here, about 1/16 of an inch, that I do find on some outdoor equipment. And I've got my argon CO2 gas set at about 7 to 8 on the black numbers here. So I think I'm running a little bit hot at 90 amps. I'll crank it down to 80. Man, this thing welds good. So have a look at these welds. It's my first time using this machine, but it welds awesome. I didn't blow through the metal. So 90 amps was a bit hot, but sometimes to get going on cold steel, it does help. And we can see some good penetration there. But see what I mean with the MIG? There's no slag to wash off. You can just kind of wire brush it if you want it to look nicer. So I'm really impressed by this. I mean, this is a $200 machine, guys. And for 200 bucks, it's impressive. Okay, I will weld this one here. It's just slightly thicker than this. This is what you would find a lot on snowblowers, this thickness. And I'll leave it at these settings as well for this weld. Wow, it works really good, guys. I'm really impressed. Easy to use. And what I've just noticed too is I don't need to adjust the wire feed. It seems to be doing everything itself. Volts, amps. Once you set the amps, it sets your wire speed as well. The higher the amps are, the faster the wire does come out. So again, a really good weld here at 100 amps. I started at 80, but it was way too cold. I probably could have went 105 to 110 on this. Okay, I got some mild steel, 1/2 inch thick. I did clean off the scaling that's on the metal. And I'm gonna crank this up. I'm gonna go the full 145 amps. Now I'm happy with that weld, however, I'm not sure how good the penetration would be. By the way, guys, I am not a professional welder. Now what I'm going to do is switch the machine over from 220 volts to 110. Okay, so on 110, you will only be able to go up to 125 amps. Earlier, I was at 145 because I was on the 220. It will indicate here as well, 110 volts. So this machine should not have a problem welding pretty well all the stuff I did here, except maybe for the 1/2 inch. And it's working really, really well. Okay, again, a really good job on 110 volts, 80 amps. Okay, I've set up the flux core wire in the machine. You will also have to change the tip to match the size of your wire as well. And what I need to do is go here and put gasless on the settings. And also adjust your wire size as well. Now, before continuing here, I do have to change the polarity for flux cord welding. It's the opposite of the solid MIG welding. So your ground clamp ends up in the positive port, and this plug here ends up in the negative port. Okay, I decided to come outside because it's really smoky using flux cord wire. And here's what I did on the thin plate. I welded this at about 80 amps. So this part is pretty good, the rest not so good. It takes a bit more practice than MIG welding, but you can obviously weld pretty thin metal with the flux core if that's your only option. And I did this on the 120 volts, the smaller plug, to plug the machine in. Okay, now if you want to do some stick welding, unplug this port here, put your stinger or your rod holder connector right in here in the negative port, and leave your ground or earth clamp in the positive. That's what it says in the manual. If you go to page, there's no page numbers, but it will show you here the stinger plugged into the negative socket and the ground clamp, earth clamp to the positive. And this just sits here idle. Okay, for stick, I'm going to go to MMA. I will start off at 105 amps. And I've been keeping the machine on the 110 volts because I know most of the viewers today will only be able to run this machine on 110 volts. So what I've got here is a 3/32 7018 rod, and I'll be joining this 1/8 steel. Now that's pretty good. It's the first time I use this machine, guys, with the stick, and stick is not the easiest welding method either. What I'm going to do now is basically plug it into the 220 and do the exact same weld. So on 220 volts, you will be able to go up to 125 amps. Okay, here are all my welds here. They're not perfect, but for the first time using this machine and stick welding, I think it's pretty good. Anyway, I gotta say I'm really impressed with this machine, guys. For 200 bucks, where else can you get a welder for 200 bucks that does all this? And it actually does most of it pretty good. The other thing I forgot to mention, there's a small hook here on the MIG gun, so you can kind of hang it on your work area. Really handy. For most of you guys watching who don't want to invest like $3,000 plus the gas tank for welding, you can buy this for 200 bucks and just use it for stick and flux core, and you're good to go. I did a lot of the welding today on 110 volts, which is what most of you guys will only have in your garage to weld. If you want to get the 220 volts, I do recommend it. You will get more power out of your machines that way and more amperage. So that means you can weld thicker metal. If you like the video, guys, please check out the links to this machine. They are in the video description. And remember that I make most of these reviews on the welders to give the consumer some heads up on how good these products are. Personally, when I got this machine, I thought for a $200 machine, I was a bit skeptic, but now that I've used it, and this was actually the first time I've used it, I'm quite impressed. I would recommend this machine, guys. I don't know what the longevity of the machine will be for daily use, but most of you guys watching will not be using this every day. I will make some review at some point in the future, like a follow-up review on all the machines I've reviewed this year. And I'll let you know how good they are and how they're lasting. So check out the links in the video description of this machine here. If you like the video, please comment. And if you have bought this machine, please comment below as well. Thanks for watching and have a great day.